Next on News Channel 3 at 5, 2 months after the Refugio spill, another slick, this time off Goleta Beach.
I said to my husband, I said, uh-oh, I think this is it. This is oil.
But is this man-made or natural seepage? News Channel 3 has team coverage of all angles of this major slick, the potential impact on wildlife, and the kayakers covered with oil who were among the first to sound the alarm. News Channel 3 at 5 starts right now.
Live, up and down the coast, from the beaches to the valleys. At 5, this is KEYT News Channel 3, where the news comes first.
At this time, the Sheen is heading towards, in the general vicinity of Santa Barbara, not to Santa Barbara, rather, but it is offshore, and so that would be southeast.
Our top story at 5 o'clock tonight, a mysterious oil slick is spreading just off our coastline. The main question right now, where is it coming from? Good evening, everybody. I'm CJ Ward.
And I'm Beth Farnsworth. We begin at 5 with the story News Channel 3 broke at midday. A large oil slick off our coastline. Here's a live picture from the air of that sheen. Depending on the angle of the camera, the oil on the water glistens, in some places heavier than others. The slick was first discovered this morning off of Goleta Beach. The Coast Guard says it's about 3 miles long and about a half-mile wide and drifting toward the waters off Santa Barbara.
And we have live team coverage of the coastal oil slick. Kelsey Gerkins is live in Ventura County with the potential impact on sea life. But first, let's go to News Channel 3 senior reporter John Palmentary, who's been at Goleta Beach from the very beginning. And John, the Coast Guard just gave us an update.
Well, this oil sheen was discovered here off the coast of Goleta Beach. It is now a serious concern for the people who come down here on a regular basis. It was discovered this morning, and it was not a confirmed spill, and it's certainly not linked to any facilities, not linked to the Plains All-American pipeline break on May 19th, not linked to any oil facilities onshore or an offshore platform. But it has been enough to bring out emergency officials. An oil sheen off Goleta throws another scare towards the coast. Santa Barbara County Fire and a pair of kayakers were the first to identify it.
Some blobs of oil out here, and I said, wow, I wonder if that's coming from Refugio. And then we got out there further and further, and the sheen started getting bigger and bigger, thicker. I put my legs out, and whoa and behold, what was I doing that for?
After a Coast Guard flyover beyond the Goleta Pier and to the eastern end of the beach, it was confirmed to be a sheen, not specifically a spill, and the source was unknown.
The sheen is approximately 3 miles long by about a half a mile wide, with what we call sporadic coverage, which is, so within that, those dimensions that I mentioned, 30% coverage of a light sheen.
Another kayaker who knows these waters well says it was unusually large.
Walked on the beach, after the big oil spill, but I've never seen it kind of coating so much area, and sometimes you used to see tar balls from ships, but this smells like crude oil, so I guess it must be crude oil, right?
And to put it in perspective, we are on the eastern side of the Goleta Pier, and this is what you and I would call the high tide line. They call it a rack line as well. And this is where most of it's been, down towards Moore Basin, Hendry's Beach. And I'm going to walk you right up to a spot here just to show you what people are seeing. This is what they're seeing on the beach right here. It's the type of tar ball or patty that they are talking about here. And you see it's glistening, it's shiny. It looks very, very fresh. I'm not going to touch it to show you the ooze. It is petroleum, and I'd rather not have that on me. But you can see this is all up and down the beach. It's similar to what we saw after the pipeline break on some of these beaches in the May and June and early July months. But down along the coastline to the east of us, we saw probably about twice as much as we saw back then. Again, it's only described as a sheen. The Coast Guard says it's going to let the natural waters break it up right now. There's not enough there, they say, for them to skim or pick up at this time. As for Vetico, which runs platform Holly offshore, and some of this has been seen in that area, they say there are no incidents at any of their Vetico facilities. Reporting live from Goleta Beach this evening, I'm John Palmentary, News Channel 3.
Okay, thank you, John. An aerial view gives us a look at what appears to be the worst of this oil slick. A news helicopter flying overhead shows us what seems to be a long line of oil very close to platform Holly off the Goleta Beach. Now take a look at this shot as the helicopter swings around from the platform and then pulls out slightly. You can see what looks like a heavy concentration of crude between the platform and the coastline. There it is right there. Veneco owns platform Holly. News Channel 3 contacted the company about the possibility that the oil could have leaked from their platform. Veneco's safety manager, Keith Winall, maintains there have been no incidents at Veneco facilities.
Folks who visited Goleta Beach were instructed to stay out of the water throughout the day.
News Channel 3 Senaray de los Santos has been out there all day. And Senaray, you've been talking with beachgoers.
Yeah, ZJ, folks were a little concerned because lifeguards were keeping people out of the ocean with little explanation on why. But then you had your regulars who had an idea it was natural seepage from the very beginning.
I saw something and I told my husband, I think that's oil.
Emma Toluza from Longpoint captured these pictures as she was walking on the pier at Goleta Beach.
I said, my husband, I said, uh-oh, I think this is it, this is oil.
In fact, it was. Two kayakers were covered with the same substance.
We're still fishing and it didn't seem to, I don't know, not to warrant the response it's got.
Ron Johns from Santa Barbara witnessed the oil while he was out fishing. He described it looking more than your natural seepage, but nothing to be worried about.
It was a light sheen on top, just rainbow colored. There was no gobs, no tar floating, didn't seem too concerning.
According to the people out on the pier, the oil lingered for nearly 3 hours before the wind moved it to shore. Around noon, Goleta Beach lifeguards closed the beach to the public.
Just stay out of the water. The lifeguard came up to us and told us that local authorities have told everybody to stay out of the water until further notice because of some kind of a chemical in the water.
We saw a helicopter going back and forth. They were looking, I guess, at the oil slick, and he was stopping everyone from going in the water.
Looks like oil on the water and tar on the beach in a way that's not normal, so it's definitely concerning. Well, I wish that the folks who are drilling out here could take better care of our shores since they're bringing the money elsewhere. It's annoying. It's sad.
Now, there are tar balls along the coast at Goleta Beach. Now, since this afternoon, lifeguards have allowed people back into the ocean. And I have to say, not many people are going in there as of right now. There's about 2 paddleboarders, but other than that, no one else is taking advantage of getting back in the water. Live at Goleta Beach, Senaray de los Santos, News Channel 3.
Chief Meteorologist Alan Rose joins us from the First Alert Weather Center. And Alan, you're tracking wind and water conditions off the Goleta coast right now.
Yeah, Beth, and as we know, weather conditions can play a huge factor with respect to oil spills or oil slicks, which in this case, we're dealing with the latter. 72 right now in that area. Winds a little bit higher at last check, coming mostly out of the southwest throughout the day, now turning more westerly. That's common late in the afternoon, 13 miles an hour, but nothing notable wind gust-wise, and humidity on the increase at 68%. Again, the initial spill happened just to the east of this point right here, and with some currents pushing that spill to the east, we could see some of that oil sheen in the direction of Santa Barbara over the next 24 to 48 hours. You can see the arrows coming from the south out towards Isla Vista, then splitting west of Isla Vista, but splitting east as you head towards Goleta, Hope Ranch, and Santa Barbara. These wind barbs representing current speeds of under 1 mile per hour. So it's not moving at a rapid pace, but it could push some of that oil again in the direction of Hope Ranch Beach or Santa Barbara as we head towards Thursday and Friday. Now, looking at the tides, also important. Some of that energy could cause the oil to move up towards the coastline, sort of ebb and flow. Tomorrow morning, we have a high tide at 10:13 a.m., and then we have a really high tide tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. That'll be 6.6 feet above mean sea level. Let me lastly show you the futurecast winds. Good news here. Overnight tonight, the winds weaken generally around 5 to 10 across the south coast. Through tomorrow morning on the light side as well. Through the afternoon, though, they will pick up a little bit, but overall not expecting much in the way of strong winds for the south coast through the day tomorrow and even into Friday. Now, when we come back in a few minutes, I'm going to switch gears and talk about the taste of the tropics in your late week forecast. Is there rain on the horizon? That is the million-dollar question. I will have that answer in about 10. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Alan. And one of our affiliates from Los Angeles took this photo on Goleta Beach today. It appears to show a couple of large tar balls. Now, of course, it's impossible to determine whether they were caused by the slick or were there prior to it.
Well, it's very likely the oil in the water will have a direct impact on wildlife.
News Channel 3's Kelsey Gerkins joins us live from Ventura. And Kelsey, having this much oil in the water can be deadly to sea life and birds.
Beth and CJ, oil and birds definitely don't mix. Today I spoke with a biology professor at Cal State University Channel Islands who actually specializes in the study of birds. She tells me we may not know the exact impact that this oil slick is having on the bird population, but she says any oil in the water will impact the bird population. Now, you're about to look at video that was taken shortly after the Refugio oil spill in May. It shows a couple of pelicans who were so covered in oil that rescuers had to work for hours to remove the oil from their feathers. Professor Alvarado says any oil on a bird's feathers impacts its rate of survival.
One is that they can either starve or drown because they can no longer swim or fly well. Another is that they could die of hypothermia potentially because their feathers no longer are insulating them properly. And finally, they could also actually die from ingesting the oil when they clean their feathers with their bills. That's a process called preening.
The Refugio Oil Spill Command Center has reported that they found more than 200 an oiled bird because of this oil slick. You're advised to contact the Oiled Bird Rescue Center, and we have a link to that on our website at KUIT.com. Reporting live in Ventura, Kelsey Gerkins, News Channel 3.
Okay, thank you, Kelsey. Stay with us. We'll have more on today's developments off our coast coming up after the break.
This is News Channel 3 at 5.
Live, Beth Farnsworth, CJ Ward, and Chief Meteorologist Alan Rose. This is KEYT News Channel 3, where the news comes first. News Channel 3 tonight. After years of record-breaking drought, our water supply is shockingly low.
Record low conditions we've never seen before since the lake was put here.
Yet look at all this precious water required to be released on the Santa Ynez River. And wait till you hear why.
One of the hardest jobs in California is to try and continue something like this during a historic drought.
That's exactly right.
How much is reclaimed and used, and how much just flows to the ocean? News Channel 3 special team reports tonight at 6 and 11.
When it comes to quality, style, and selection, Santa Barbara Design Center is your ultimate destination. Hi, I'm Marco Kurosh. Welcome to Santa Barbara Design Center, Santa Barbara's premier home decor and furniture store. We offer the largest selection of custom furniture, handmade rugs, designer fabrics, lighting, and home decor. We custom make your sofa or sectional to your specifications, better, faster, for less. Come in and see us today.
Carly posts,
breaking up with the longest relationship I've ever had. Hashtag sad but true.
Good riddance, Carly.
Hashtag 96 months too long.
Oh, the car. Right. Well, now's the perfect time to head over to the Honda Summer Clearance event. We've got great deals on the Honda Civic, the best-selling car in its class. So ditch that loser. Hey. Still talking about the car. Oh.
Hurry in to the Honda Summer Clearance event for a great deal on your new Honda.
Made in America is back. Over 150 reports this week from California to Ohio to Atlanta, Georgia. The family recipe turned family fortune when American jobs are on the line. David Muir is there.
Made in America.
On ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir.
And now to the very latest on that large oil slick off our coastline. I want to give you a shot, live shot right now off of Goleta Beach. Now, in some sections, that oil slick appears to be heavier than others. The slick was discovered off Goleta Beach after 9:30 this morning. The Coast Guard says it's about 3 miles long and about a half-mile wide and drifting toward the waters off Santa Barbara.
News Channel 3 senior reporter John Palmentary has been at Goleta Beach from the very beginning, and he has an update for us. John.
You know, I talked to the lieutenant in charge of this from the United States Coast Guard, and we asked the specific question because right now we know it's a 3-mile-long sheen of oil, which he says is very thin. He used the word sporadic. Earlier in the day, there was a flyover, and we'll show you that described it as 1 to 3 miles wide and 10 miles long. And I asked him to compare what we heard earlier today with what their Coast Guard flyover reported this afternoon about 2:33, 3:30 in the afternoon. He said he could not comment on the previous report because it wasn't theirs, it was someone else's, and they had no basis or reference point for that as being a 10-mile-long, 3-mile-wide sheen. So that has raised some concerns about what might have been out there earlier that was unverified by those who are in charge of doing just this. As we know, this was reported before 10 o'clock this morning. We had a Coast Guard flyover after 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So there was some time there where different agencies were all assessing it. Back here live, I know we did this a few minutes ago, and I'm going to do something a little more specific for you very quickly here. We want to show you what the tar balls, as they are called, look like here. And here's a little seashell here on the beach at Goleta Beach. Okay, so this is what it looks like, right? And you can see how flat it is, how shiny it is. And this is all up and down this beach here. But what I can't do with my hand, I'll do with the seashell, is you can see the type of substance it is here. Here's another one. It's a little coagulated. It's not particularly thinned out or gooey. It's pretty much a blob, and it's all on the bottom of shoes out here from anybody going to the beach. Hope that helps you understand what we're dealing with. And they're all along the high tide line. If you look down the beach beyond the other news crew way out there, there are actually people who have come out and they've sat down and taken out their picnic dinner, and they're enjoying themselves a night at the beach in the good land in Goleta. And to the right of them in the distance, there's also a guy walking his dog right in the high tide line. It's a white dog. It's no doubt going to have black paws very soon. We'll have more for you coming up in News Channel 3 at 6 o'clock. But live from Goleta Beach, where there was a big oil sheen earlier today, it appears to be breaking up, and some of the serious concerns from earlier today are simmering down. I'm John Palmentary, News Channel 3.
And those folks picnicking probably obviously don't mind the smell of oil because it sounds like it's pretty strong out there.
I guess not. But maybe they weren't aware of it until they got there and figured what the heck.
They planned this picnic out
exactly.
days ago. Yeah.
You know, I want to talk about conditions again, just to sort of recap what we said at the top of the newscast. Of course, the slick off the Goleta beaches and temperatures there in the low 70s, so it's really a pleasant day. Winds, this is the strongest wind we've seen, and it's now shifted more westerly, so that means the wind is pushing west to east or parallel to the south coast, right around 13 miles an hour. Humidity tonight running at about 68%. Let's again show you the ocean current map, and this is very important. I know it's a little bit hard to sort of dissect and comprehend what you're looking at, but the arrows or the barbs here indicate which way the oil is moving. And again, the spill happened just right about here. So in this direction or this area, the currents are moving pretty much south to north, but then they split. West of Isla Vista Point, they're going to the west, and to the east of Goleta, they're moving to the east. So this could take some of that oil in the direction of Santa Barbara over the next 24 to 48 hours. And Santa Barbara, that's where we'll take you now as we change gears and talk about the weather conditions. We have seen some very big cumulus clouds developing in the mountains, but so far a dry day as expected across the south coast. Temperature-wise, hit a high of 79, and get this, folks, we've been 79 or 80 degrees every day so far this week. I think tomorrow it's going to be a little bit warmer than that with low to mid 80s in your south coast forecast. Tonight we're seeing 72 for Goleta, it's 75 in Gaviota. Look at the heat building in the valleys, 86 in San Ynez, 98 in Cuyama, 86 in Paso, and 93 in Ojai. Look at the wind speeds across our viewing area. Shows that winds right now 21 in Paso Robles, 12 in Santa Maria, 13 in Lompoc and San Ynez, and 14 in Oxnard. This is just some typical westerly or southwest winds that we normally deal with at this time of the day. 72 by 7 p.m., then down to the 60s overnight tonight. A lot of cloud cover tomorrow, and for the afternoon, we'll see mostly cloudy skies, a warm and muggy day on tap, and an isolated chance of a shower entering that forecast. We can see tonight quiet conditions here at home, but let's move off to the east. This is where the bulk of the moisture is tonight, right along the Arizona-New Mexico state line. But let's move a little bit closer to home. Right now, we are under a flash flood warning in northeastern LA County. That includes the Lake Los Angeles area, Victorville, Lancaster, and Palmdale. We've seen some ponding of water on the roadways, and some spots have reported as much as 5 to 6 inches of water water out there in those desert communities. And all of that energy and that humidity is moving west tonight. The tropics return in your forecast Thursday to Saturday. Just an isolated chance for us with most of the activity for the mountains, but Thursday and Friday, those would be the 2 days when I think we have the highest chance of seeing that wet weather. So you see that cloud shield moving through tomorrow, and there you can see some hit or miss showers during the afternoon. And again, Friday morning, the model's picking up on a little something around Santa Barbara, Santa Maria as well. And then by Saturday, I think it moves back to the mountains as we begin to dry out your forecast. So tomorrow, getting muggy, isolated showers, highs in the 80s for the south coast, some upper 70s around Goleta, however, 80 in Santa Maria, 95 in Atascadero, 98 tomorrow in Paso. Still see some 90s around Ojai tomorrow, but mostly upper 70s and 80s elsewhere in Ventura County. So in Santa Barbara, we'll talk about an isolated chance of showers through Friday. Not expecting much, but if we do get one of those storm cells that moves through, you could see some heavier downpours. So weather could get interesting out there for the next 48 hours, and then we do trend down with that humidity by the weekend. That's some better news, but temperatures really not changing much. Still some warm stuff sticking around.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
A geochemistry team from UCSB, they're experts in seeps, spent the day off Goleta Beach today taking samples.
Karen Lemkow joins us live on the phone from Karen, from what you're seeing out in the field, does the oil appear to be natural or human caused?
So there's no really easy way to tell that just by looking at the oil itself. We really have to do some chemical analyses on it. But from the situation and my experience on the beaches here and talking to locals, this doesn't seem to be anything particularly out of the ordinary. There's nothing to suggest that it's not just a natural slick at this point.
Okay, you know, for locals, it's really an unusually large slick if it is natural. To you, does it seem extra large?
No, not necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of things that can affect the appearance of oil on the beaches, and, you know, this slick is quite possibly exists all the time. It's just normally offshore, and just different tide, current, wind conditions can end up bringing it onshore. And so, no, there's nothing that seems particularly out of the ordinary right now to me.
So you're testing the oil. How long does it take before you get the results back from those tests?
We will probably do some chemical analysis. It'll probably take a week or two. I'm not quite sure what our schedule will be, but we'll probably try and get them out in the next day or two.
Okay, and just want to rule out one more thing. Any chance of any plate movement, any fault movement, any precursor to an earthquake because of this?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Any chance that this could be a precursor to an earthquake? Any shifting of plates or faults?
That's not really my area of expertise. I can't really speak to that. We have natural seeps off the coast here all the time, and so I don't think it's anything specific to be particularly alarmed about.
Okay. Just one more question about the testing. So when you get the testing back, will it tell you? Are you confident it will tell you that this was either a seep or human caused?
Well, it depends on the type of oil, but we'll be able to get a chemical signature of the oil itself, and we have a lot of natural seep samples that we've collected in the past that we can compare to, and so using different compounds in the oil, we should be able to tie it back to either a natural seep, or if not, I mean, we may not be able to determine the source. We just can't say at this point.
Okay, we'll be back in touch. Thank you so much, Karen Lemkow with the Department of Earth Sciences at UCSB. We'll have the very latest on the oil slick at Goleta Beach coming up.
You're watching News Channel 3.
It's the mattress sale that'll help you adjust your attitude each and every night. It's Sit and Safe's adjustable bed sale. Save up to $1,100 on adjustable beds from Simmons, Sealy, and Serta. Even twin-size adjustable beds starting at just $7.99. Plus, get 2 years of interest-free financing. So don't miss the sale that'll adjust your attitude each and every night, this Friday through Monday only. It's Sit and Safe's adjustable bed sale. Sit and Safe will beat anyone's advertised price, so your mattress is free!
Looking for quality service? Harry's got it. Need a huge selection? Harry's got it. And of course, you want incredible savings, right? Harry's got it all. Come see the all-new Mazda CX-5 and drive it home for only $249 a month. Or choose the award-winning Mazda 6, yours for just $199 a month. $199. For great service and the most amazing selection and savings, there's only one place to go. Get to Perry Mazda today because
Harry's got it all.
Why settle for the frustrations of satellite? 1 out of 4 satellite customers claim they have reception outages in bad weather, and 80% of satellite customers don't have real video on demand. Plus, there's this on your house. With Spectrum, everyone has access to tons of free on-demand options instantly, and your favorite HD channels are already included. And our DVR service lets you pause, play, and rewind live TV in up to 4 rooms. Can't do that with satellite. With the Spectrum TV app, watch live TV anywhere in your home, on your mobile devices, and download movies and shows to watch offline anywhere. Call 844-882-2999 now. Spectrum Internet is 20 times faster than DSL, so everyone in your home can be online at the same time. Get Spectrum Internet and get unlimited calling and great features with Spectrum Voice. Get TV, internet, and voice from $29.99 a month each with no contracts and a money-back guarantee. Call 844-882-2999 today.
Once upon a time, the young maiden Goldilocks was picking flowers in the forest when she came upon a house in the trees. To her delight, she found 3 chairs. The first was too small, the second was too hard, and the third wasn't that comfortable either.
You need a lazy boy for Mattress Mike.
So the bear went to Mattress Mike and picked out a lazy boy and lived happily ever after. Stop by to experience our wide selection of lazy boy chairs and other high-quality furnishings.
Happy anniversary to me.
It's Vaughn's anniversary. Happy anniversary to me. But you're the one who's going to save some serious money.
Happy anniversary to me.
Now with your club card, Gatorade 8-packs are $2.99 when you buy 3. Select Frito-Lay snacks are $1.88 when you buy 3 mix and match. And Eating Right boneless skinless chicken breast is $1.88 a pound.
Happy anniversary to me.
Vaughn's huge anniversary sale. It's just better.
Elijah is awesome. He is my oldest of 2. He's just an awesome kid.
The day of the accident was February 18th, 2014.
That morning on the way out, we were basically T-boned by a Suburban. I assumed we're all going to the same hospital. We'll get there relatively the same time. He's like, nah, with his injuries, he's going out to Cottage.
We have never been through anything like this before. So for us to see him like that, we couldn't do anything but just cry. His nurse, Joanne, she was probably his angel on duty. Their care helped us get over this huge mountain.
We became very close because I don't know anyone who couldn't be close with this family.
And last I spoke with he and his family, he was running track and was doing great.
I'm so glad he is here today.
I am happy to be alive.
KEYT celebrates the rich history of Fiesta.
May I remind you that you're now looking at one of America's most famous historical celebrations. It's the annual Fiesta at California's sun-kissed Santa Barbara.
This Fiesta moment brought to you by our local sponsors.
Well, we have the very latest on the coastal oil sheen.
The Coast Guard cannot identify the source of the slick and is actively investigating. A team with the Marine Safety Detachment flew over the slick today. Spotters put that size at 3 miles long and a half mile wide.
And we will have much more on this coming up on News Channel 3 at 6 o'clock.